What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Shadow Moose Gaming here, and today I want to talk to you about everything that you need to know about Season of Conquest KvK format called Heroic Anthem. Now, the reason why I talk to you about Heroic Anthem KvK format in 2025, because this is one of the oldest, if not the oldest Season of Conquest format that there is out there. It's simple. For one, Heroic Anthem is the most commonly played KvK format and also the default Season of Conquest format that all kingdoms would actually go through in their third KvK as they enter KvK Season of Conquest 3. Because as you enter the third KvK in Rise of Kingdoms now in 2025, as far as what I know, you're actually given the option to queue up only against other kingdoms that are entering the KvK 3 versus getting matched with all the other kingdoms that were just in existence for years and years and years of Rise of Kingdoms history. So that way you get a little bit of fair fight for your third KvK versus, let's say, other KvKs that you'll just get stomped by all those old players that were playing in Rise of Kingdoms for a very long time, unless you have a lot of migrants to your kingdom. Now, also at the same time, this time of the year, we have the Pioneer version of the new KvK tech that is actually being tested in Heroic Anthem. It is not surprising to us that they're testing in Heroic Anthem because, as I said, this is one of the most default and most commonly played and also the default Season of Conquest format that you can possibly find in Rise of Kingdoms. So it makes sense that they're testing it in Heroic Anthem. And because of that, there's a lot more kingdoms that are registered for Heroic Anthem. You can see that right now on this registration phase alone. We have about 259 kingdoms registered for Heroic Anthem versus other formats that are available for you right now, like Warriors Unbound. We only have 9 kingdoms that have signed up for this. And then Tides of War, which has 30 kingdoms that signed up for this, right? So by far, one of the most popular, and especially more popular today because of that new KvK technology that is being tested in Heroic Anthem map and map alone with that remaster tag in them. Now let's just go ahead and take a look at some of the simple things and just start off from there, right? First of all, let's see. Okay, so this kingdom, KvK format, Heroic Anthem KvK core format, is four camp KvK. So there's only four camps in this KvK format. There's going to be fire, water, earth, and wind. And they'll all be kind of spread around at the corner of each map. And basically they'll fight for the zone 5, which opens up as you enter pass 4. Depending on whether or not you're neighboring your allies or not, you might not have a fight or you might have an easy fight, whatever it is, how the kingdom KvK matchmaking was working for you. And then they'll actually eventually move up to this zone right here and then fight for the altars for honor points and whatnot here. And then eventually they'll move into Kingsland and then fight for the Ziggurat at the end of the day. So very, very simple KvK format, I would say. Very straightforward. Nothing too special about this versus other KvK formats as well, as it is the most basic format of KvK that is out there for Rise of Kingdoms. Now let's jump right into one of the active Heroic Anthem KvKs and find out what's unique about Heroic Anthem. Now in Heroic Anthem KvK, just like all the other KvK formats, I believe, there will be something called Bastions that you can complete quests for crystal production speeds as well as extra crystal that you can get from completing the quest and then gaining favor with one of those bastions or commanders that are, occupying these bastions. Now, when you do that in other KvK formats, you only get things like, the crystals and crystal production speed. But in Heroic Anthem format specifically, upon reaching level 6 of favor from these bastions, you'll be able to actually take one of the skills from the commander that's occupying this bastion as if your own and then equip it for each of your march. For example, in this KvK format, in this particular Lost Kingdom map, this Julius Caesar Bastion is going to give you this skill, which is called the Founders, which will give you extra unit capacity for your march. So when you march out, let's say your unit capacity previously was 200%, right? 200,000. And then when you actually equip this skill right here to that march, and for that march alone, you cannot use it twice, you cannot use it in multiple marches. For that march alone, you'll be able to gain 3% extra unit capacity. That means that you'll be able to run 206,000 unit capacity for that march, and you get the gist, right? So you'll be able to utilize some of their skills, one of their skills, as auxiliary skill, and then equip it onto your commander so that your commander can gain the extra buff or extra skill benefits from those Bastions commanders. Now, why this makes Heroic Anthem even more unique is because all those commanders and all those commander skills that you gain from Heroic Anthem is actually randomized. So you could actually enter Heroic Anthem KvK format and then find out that, oh well, in the past I've seen, let's say, Julius Caesar appear at the Bastions in Zone 5, whereas on the next one you may not find Julius Caesar and his skill as auxiliary skill in this KvK format. So it does add a little bit of RNG to the map itself, which causes like the balancing issues and stuff. For example, if you don't have, let's say, as many cavalry commanders on Bastions, then you might not be able to gain as much power as cavalry main for that KvK format specifically, and vice versa, right? All the other troop types can do the same thing, right? And also at the same time, some of the skills that you get from the Bastions will be more favorable towards rally or garrison or both versus the field, or vice versa, right? Some of the KvK formats, Heroic Anthem KvK maps, will have only field fighting skills and stuff, so it would, this would put disadvantages to the rally and garrison because they can get swarmed faster, whatever it is that you like to call it. There's only a specific set of commanders that are going to appear in the Bastions, and those are the old commanders like Charles Martel, Julius Caesars, and then there's gonna be some commanders that are gonna show up that used to be Season of Conquest commanders, but then again from the earlier part of the Rise of Kingdom history, such as, let's see, Chandragupta is one of them, William is one of them, Guan Yu is one of them. So all those old commanders will kind of show up and then offer their skills for you to equip on your commander so that you can actually use those as well. And the reason why those are particularly important for your kingdom, the reason why occupying those bastions are going to be particularly important, is because then you'll be basically fighting for your skills, the extra powerful skills against the kingdom that you're fighting against in the zone 4, zone 5, zone 6, and so forth. And let's say if your camp is closer to one of the more powerful skills, then your camp would be put at an unintended kind of advantage versus the other camp and so forth. So there's a little bit of balancing issues, but then again, that's what makes things fun sometimes, because all those RNG stuff is sometimes what makes the games unpredictable and then has fun sometimes. And also at the same time, one thing that I do have to mention is that those Bastion skills actually favors older players and older accounts, because let's just go back to my own kingdom and then find out what I mean by that. Okay, so a lot of new players, and it's kind of tough for me to actually call myself a new player given that I've played this game for 1100 days, actually haven't had a chance to actually utilize some of the commanders that are very, very old. For example, some commanders like Edward of Woodstock, right? He will have some powerful skills that can be used as auxiliary skills if you were able to see him, if you were able to find him in Heroic Anthem Bastions. But then again, a lot of new players like me who never had like Edward meta ever would have not built Edward the Vusta as a commander, and hence would have either very low skill level for those skills that are offered in auxiliary skills, auxiliary bastions, or it would just you would just not even have those commanders at all. So this kind of benefits those kingdoms and commanders that have played that played the game for a long time. As you can see, Julius Caesar, I have maxed out the skill that I just saw for the unit capacity, just because he's actually a gold key commander. It's much easier for you to get his skills maxed up. But then again, you know, commanders like Edward Wusta or like Genghis Khan, I wouldn't really have that many ways for me to get the skills that I want that shows up on the Bastion skill, which is all at random. So yeah, so those kind of do favor the older accounts and older players. But then again, I think some of the most powerful skills are actually from epic commanders, such as I think Belisarius, the epic version, actually have this skill right here. If this commander's troop deals 25% more damage when they're hitting troops that are less than 50% of remaining, right? This is one of the most powerful, I think, rally or garrison skills that you can have on a commander pairing. So because it does more damage as you get lower, right? And it kind of allows you to finish off that rally / garrison as soon as possible. So this is, yeah. So it does put older players at a little bit of advantage, but then again, sometimes it may not matter because you'll just get things like unit capacity, which doesn't really matter for rally garrison and stuff. And sometimes like bringing out more troops are not usually the best strategy too, as well, just because you might just get swarmed out and then get more civilians and stuff as a new player. Now, yeah, so that's basically it about everything that is really unique about Heroic Anthem. Very simple, again, 4 camp KvK that has new auxiliary skills that you can actually equip onto your commander pairing, and those commanders will be older commanders just because of how old this Heroic Anthem KvK format was. Now, let's just touch a little bit about the new technology. The new technology, the way that I heard it, is that it actually allows you to focus on one troop type a lot more. So hence, people like myself who focuses only on cavalry, for example, will be able to actually complete everything that you need as a rally lead for cavalry commanders, cavalry troop type, much faster and much easier, much cheaper. So that's why a lot of people are actually, I think, queuing up for this particular KvK format versus other things, because you don't have to worry about, you know, getting your siege attack maxed out in this KvK format for you to make sure that your cavalry rally does perform the best. You know, that made no sense before, but now we're just looking at it in a new technology. I think it's just, yeah, it will be cheaper for me to actually get to that point as a rally lead to get all the points that I need for my rally to perform at its maximum potential. And as far as what I've heard from some of the other content creators' contents, I think if you're, let's say, I think previously rally leads in ACs or above were kind of forced into spending on 3 different mountain warfares on top of all the other stuff that you're supposed to spend on the KvK. But I think in this format, you might only have to spend up to 2. I don't know. I think I'll have to figure it out once I actually get into the KvK. And maybe for garrison garrisoners or garrison leads, you might be able to actually finish it with just 1 mountain warfare package instead of, you know, investing too much into 2 and stuff. So I think it does kind of liberate a lot of those rally garrison leads, like, weight off of their shoulder for them to spend a lot on mountain warfares and stuff. But we'll have to see. I'll let you know. I'll keep you updated after I get into the KvK, and then after spending on Mountain Warfare, and let you know. Hey, like, yeah, this KvK format actually is much cheaper for me to actually rally and garrison, become a rally and garrison for this particular troop type. But yeah, so that's basically everything that I wanted to talk to you about Heroic Anthem KvK format. I hope you guys actually enjoyed it. And if you did, please go ahead and drop a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, as those will help me out a lot. And if you want to talk to me about this new KvK format or just anything in general about Rise of Kingdoms, feel free to join the Discord link from the down below. And as always, I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace!